What if I told you there's a place on Earth where entire governments get nervous? A continent with no permanent citizen, but with military-grade restrictions on where you can fly. A place where scientists drilled 4 kilometers of ice and then suddenly stopped. No one talks about why. I'm not here to sell you conspiracy theories. I'm here to show you the facts. And the facts are somehow stranger. 4 kilometers beneath the surface of Antarctica, deeper than most people will ever dig, there is a lake. A real liquid lake. It's called Lake Vostok, and it has been completely sealed off from the outside world for over 15 million years. Let that sink in. While dinosaurs were going extinct, while humans were evolving, while entire civilizations rose and collapsed, this lake was just waiting. In total darkness, in total silence. Russian scientists spent decades drilling toward it. They got within meters of the water. And then they stopped. The official reason? Risk of contamination. But here's what they don't tell you in the press release. The magnetic readings around Lake Vostok are unlike anything else on the continent. Scientists describe it as a significant anomaly in the geomagnetic field. An anomaly. That's the word they use. When instruments read something impossible, they call it an anomaly and they move on. We're not moving on. It's 1946. World War II just ended. The world is exhausted. And the United States Navy decides to send 4,700 soldiers, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft to Antarctica. The largest military operation ever sent to the bottom of the world. Why? Official answer? Training exercises, mapping, science. But you don't send nearly 5,000 military personnel and a fleet of warships to draw maps. You send researchers for that. The operation lost aircraft, lost men, and ended months ahead of schedule with no official explanation for why it was cut short. Rear Admiral Richard Byrd, who led the mission, later spoke about objects that could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Now, I need to be honest with you, we cannot verify the exact source of that quote. It may be misattributed. But the mission itself, the losses, the sudden end, all completely documented. And here's the thing about Antarctica. It doesn't need to have flying saucers to be deeply, genuinely strange. The real facts are already enough to make your stomach drop. Fast forward to 2016. Scientists launch an experiment called ANITA, a giant balloon floating 37 kilometers above Antarctica, listening for signals from deep space. And something answers, but not from space. The signals appeared to come from below the horizon, from underground. High-energy particles, the kind that can only be created by cosmic events, were coming up from the ice, not down from the sky. Up. The physics community went silent for a moment. Because if you follow standard physics, this is impossible. These particles don't travel through the Earth. Later analysis suggested the signal could be explained by reflected cosmic rays. But, and this is important, it was never fully resolved. Multiple follow-up experiments produced conflicting data. Antarctica handed physics something it still can't fully explain, and hardly anyone talked about it. And then there's the Wilkes Land anomaly. Satellite gravity data revealed a massive circular structure under the ice, 500 kilometers wide. The leading scientific theory? An ancient asteroid impact, one of the largest in Earth's history. Just sitting there, under a continent, quietly. Here's the part that actually keeps me up at night. Antarctica is the only continent on Earth governed by a special international treaty. No country owns it, no country can claim it. And yet, Specific zones are off limits. You need permits to fly over certain areas. Some research stations are accessible only to approved government personnel. Now, there are completely reasonable explanations for all of this. Environmental protection, scientific integrity, safety. The ice is genuinely dangerous. These are real reasons. But here's what I want you to notice. In every other sensitive place on Earth, Area 51 classified bases, restricted airspace. The excuse is always national security. In Antarctica, it's international law, which means every major government agreed together to the same set of rules about the same continent. That's not nothing. Why would competing superpowers, countries that disagree on everything, all quietly agree on this one piece of ice? So here's where we land. No aliens confirmed, no secret bases proven, no smoking gun, but a lake that science hasn't fully reached. A military operation that no one fully explained. A physics experiment with results that still aren't settled. And a continent that every world power agreed to treat differently. Maybe it's all geology. Maybe it's all protocol. Maybe the boring explanation is the right one, but Antarctica keeps producing moments where the boring explanation feels almost too convenient. So I want to know what you think. Do you believe there's something under the ice they haven't told us about? Or is Antarctica exactly what they say it is? Just the coldest, loneliest laboratory on the planet? Drop your answer below. I read everything. And if you want part 2, where we go deeper into the classified expedition files, hit subscribe, because that video is coming.